Hi, my name is Jacqueline Kiernan. I'm a freshman at Iona University. I am majoring in speech pathology with a minor in psychology, and this is my mental health project.
Hi, my name is Camilla Nicasio. I am currently doing research with Columbia University for their mental health science project as well, and as a research associate.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the mental health institution and field?
Sure. So I'm 27 years old. I'm from northern New Jersey and actually went to Manhattan College, which is, I know, right in the area. And what really got me into mental health was honestly the lack of it in our community. I feel like our society has always gone back and forth with a lot of, issues in the news that we see day to day that can easily be tied back to just unresolved mental traumas. And I was just I really love like direct people connection, and I feel
Yeah.
like mental health was really something that brought me there.
100%. Now, do you see any challenges or anything when you get into this mental health field?
It's such a vast amount of different people, vast amount of different backgrounds, so you are hit with a lot of challenges and just how people take things,
100%.
how they receive it, how they respond to you. But it also is really beautiful because you realize that everyone has a story and they
Yeah.
kind of come with their own baggage, but it's also like, okay, we're kind of all the same
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
come with baggage, everyone, in all
course.
different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, what inspired you to become an advocate for therapy and mental health awareness?
I think seeing how it improved my own life. So
Okay.
I got into therapy pretty.
So you yourself have gone to therapy?
Yes, and big advocate for therapy once I honestly started therapy. And
Okay.
it actually, for me, helped me deal with a lot of anxieties myself. And I saw how changing that allowed me to be better to people in general. So I was like,
100%.
you know what? I realized the difference it can make just in me. So I wanted to try to be an advocate for it
Okay.
day to day.
Was there any personal experience that you pushed towards advocacy?
I really advocate mostly for just like a lot of self-reflection, which I feel like is lacking, which is the whole purpose of honestly why I wanted to get into mental health in the first place.
Okay.
I advocate for a lot of self-awareness, questioning, which I
Yeah.
just feel like is also lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. People kind of get used to just what goes on in the day-to-day without questioning how it can be better or what's wrong about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now how do you use your personal platform for this advocacy for mental health?
That's a great question. I feel like we live in an age, obviously, of a lot of upcoming social media and a lot of just kind of being a walking example.
Okay.
And I like to, as long with my peers and family, like I talk about it all the time, and I try
Yeah.
to be like, okay, why don't we look into this a bit deeper? Where do you think this actually started? Where can you kind of trace it back to?
Yes.
And I feel like being active in my family life, talking
Okay.
about it, and also on social media, just going back and forth and bringing it up here and there, makes sure that it kind of gets to the people and the right sources.
Yeah, makes sense. And now, what led you to start therapy for yourself? Was there anything specific or anything like that?
For me, I was going through my parents' divorce.
Okay.
So that was actually a big kind of welcoming, oh my God, maybe I can talk to someone besides my sister about it. And I realized it was trying to find tools that other people couldn't give me. So I was like, I think I need more of a professional to be like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not going crazy. You're not feeling, super sad or
Yeah,
super mad.
I'm sure it was very helpful.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was life-changing.
Yeah.
So I saw that big event in my life kind of propelled me to be like, okay, let me seek outside help.
Yeah.
And then I realized how detrimental it could be for anyone in any situation. And it doesn't need a parent's divorce. It could be like, I failed my anatomy exam and it will help just as much.
Yeah.
So,
Now, coming into my family, so
yes.
this is also my cousin's girlfriend.
Yes.
Now, did that change anything for you at all?
No, I honestly, it was even better for me because I was able to speak to more people, also have more people that I love with different backgrounds, be able to have their input on things.
Of course.
Because me and Jack always go back and forth about all types of life situations.
All the time.
All the time. And I love hearing her take and I actually literally told her yesterday, I was like, you should think about therapy. Because she has such a refreshing take on that people I feel like don't listen to and don't get to because no one shows them. Also, half the time, you are what your environment brings you up to be. So,
and everyone has a different background.
and everyone has a different background. And me coming into the family, it was like, okay, now I know and understand Jack 10 times more because we talk about it, we yap about it on a daily basis. But it's also her different background, my different background coming together. I was like, okay, no wonder we are the way we are. And we can also
bond
and oh my God, so much bond. And also help other people kind of remind them hey, you're not that crazy.
Yeah.
We actually look at us and look what we're doing and look what you can do.
And now back to therapy. Did
Yes.
anyone like encourage you or support you in that sort of way? Or not support you?
Great question. My mom honestly was a very big advocate for therapy.
Yeah.
She was the first one in my family that did therapy, and I come from a Dominican background, and it's the Hispanic community is not ready for that conversation. Like it's just it's a stereotype.
Yeah,
like you
100%.
go to therapy and people are like, "Oh, you got schizophrenia."
Yeah.
Like,
Like you could deal with it yourself.
yeah, are you hallucinating? You don't need it. Or exactly, like therapy was a much bigger deal than it always was. So my mom being like the first in the family to have therapy, for her, it was her divorce that actually prompted her, was so huge in my eyes because it was like breaking the stigma, especially in like a Hispanic household.
Now, did your work at Columbia,
Yeah.
did that help in any sort of way?
It was huge for me because I had to interview very low socioeconomic backgrounds. So I was based in the Bronx, but the South Bronx. And I had to go to people's homes and interview them. And it was like 2 to 3 hour long interviews, like all online. And it was really fascinating. First, like people were being so open to have like a research assistant like me. Like they don't know me. They're like, okay, you're doing
You're a random
mental health
person.
research. Come on in. It helped them in some way. Like there was a benefit for them to take the survey, and it was like a interview process, really, not a survey. But the Columbia was like, okay, you take this, we'll give you a voucher, for this amount of money. So it helped them, which was great. Like they weren't doing it for nothing. But it really was like an eye opener. Just even being in places that people live that you didn't know of.
Yeah.
And like, or just didn't, you weren't in their space. Like
and again, people have different backgrounds or everything like that.
different backgrounds, different way of being. And even like, you get all types of personalities, like we talked about before, more reserved, more outspoken, more quiet, or willing to be vulnerable, not willing to be vulnerable.
100%.
So I loved the shift of people and how I kind of had to adapt to whatever you were bringing to the table. So it was really eye-opening. It was huge.
Makes more than 100%.
1000%.
How did you feel before you started therapy yourself? And what was your like initial thought?
Before I started therapy, that's also a really great question. I didn't even think about it. My mom had always been very outspoken about it at home, but before therapy, I kind of just felt like I could swallow everything. Like, I'm okay. I don't need anything. I'm good. But then I also felt like I was exploding at the same time.
Okay. So it was a lot of inner.
It was a lot of inner conflict that I was like, you know what? I guess I just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you don't. You can actually... Yeah, it was just before therapy, it was very, like, it was just me.
Yeah.
And then it was a reminder that you're not alone.
Okay.
Like, you're okay.
Yeah. Was there any like fears or like misconceptions about therapy that you've heard in the past that changed?
Oh my God. So also going back to like growing up in a Hispanic community, the immediate stigma you hear about therapy is like, oh, you must be going crazy because you need someone else to talk to.
Yeah.
Just talk to your friends. Just talk to your parents. Very common. I understand that, and it is true for some ways that the immediate person that you have for comfort is like Jack, or like Jack has me.
Like personally, I don't go to therapy, but like now I'm like, okay.
No, yeah, and it's okay too. It's also not. I always feel bad to bombard people to be like, you should go to therapy. You don't have to at all, but it is nice to just know that there's someone else that you don't have to put pressure on to figure things out for you.
Okay.
Like sometimes I would always go to my sister too, and my sister's name is Monksi, and I'd always be like, Monksi, like, oh my God, this, and this, and this. And she could only give me what she knew.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't someone with 20 years of experience, which is my current therapist. Shout out Rosario. And it wasn't my current therapist, was 20 years of experience and 20 years of dealing with types of anxiety, stressors, insomnias, personality disorders. Like it's not someone that could give me those tools. And then you kind of remove the guilt off the other person of having to be there for you 24/7.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, it's okay. Like, I don't need you right now. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm good.
Now, coming from that, do you think there's anything else besides therapy that could help?
Oh my God.
I know some people color.
Yeah.
Like,
that's actually huge.
Yeah, I didn't realize that could help.
All the adult coloring books.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I'm really big on a lot of holistic health as well. So I actually, in combination with therapy, holistic lifestyle changes is a big thing I advocate for. A lot of that is just, honestly, the first thing you do is your nutrition, which sounds very like doctorified and by the book, but it's like you eat better, you feel better. A lot of people, like, I feel we're in a day and age that you kind of stay inside, like go out for a walk.
Yeah.
That really changed me. Like throughout the summer, all I did was dog walking at the time. And that literally saved me. Like
Really?
just going outside and walking a dog and being forced
Who would
to.
have known?
Who would have known?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much lifestyle changes that you can do, from eating to walking to even my therapist and I actually have talked about singing. Like
Really?
just even the topic of like letting loose
Okay.
through dance or like
that's like a trend now. Like
Yes.
dancing it out.
exactly dance it out, shake it out. Like that's
Yeah, yeah.
all things to regulate your nervous system, which was also really fascinating.
Okay. Now, was there like when talking about like therapy or anything, was it what made you get past that hesitation to actually start going to therapy?
Yeah, that was honestly I had to like bite the bullet, because it was also tough because sadly you kind of have to think about money. Like, does your
Yeah.
insurance cover therapy? Which is also another part of the reason I wanted to be in this field, because I wanted to make it easy for people to access. But you got to think about that. And that was honestly, sadly, the major thing that I was like, does my insurance cover it?
Really?
And it did. And it honestly, you had to accept, like, it's okay that I need someone else to tell me it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
As cheesy as that sounds, like, it's okay for someone else
Everyone
to tell
needs
me.
that one person.
Everyone needs that one person. And it was really just me to accept that, and that's what jumped the gun, and I was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in a moment in therapy, did anything make you truly feel understood or relieved throughout the whole experience? Like, what was the experience that impacted you the most?
This is intense. This is great. This is actually like a therapy session. One moment that impacted me the most, I think, like, okay, so like I actually remember crisply my first therapy session, and I kind of went through my whole life story. I was like, okay, this, and this. In my personal story, I had tried to go to medical school and it didn't end up working out. So I finished after a year and came home, and that was a lot to deal with, and not to quickly trauma dump, but it was, just a failure, right, in your eyes.
Yeah.
And that was my first therapeutic conversation, and I remember her being like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And just anyone, any therapist, anyone being like, that's a lot. I didn't realize that I needed that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like someone being like, that's a lot.
You're going through a lot. Like, calm down.
And it was almost like the reassurance you look for to your best friend.
Yes.
It's like, you're right. That was a lot. So that was a really big, like, wait, everything that I'm feeling is not wrong. I'm not dramatic.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. But
so that changed the way you viewed yourself.
Exactly. Like,
Okay.
it changed how I viewed myself, how I gave myself grace, because you kind of judge yourself through those moments of any type of failure in any regard. Doesn't
Okay.
have to be academic. But yeah, it gave myself grace and opened my eyes a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how has your personal experience in therapy influenced the way you support your others in your health journey?
Oof. I love to talk about things now and get to the root.
Okay.
I think there's
You've even helped me in that situation.
Yeah, I feel we help each other in that situation
lot.
all the time. And it's being able to just get comfortable, not even talking about the problem, but your emotions surrounding the problem. Because I think there's a difference in the problem itself, and it's like, okay, but your emotions, like, let's feel out the feelings.
Like, circle back around.
Let's circle back around, because like the problem is like, it's not even a problem. It's just like something that triggered your emotion.
Okay.
Right? So it was finding that for me through therapy. I was like, wow, I just have to kind of give my emotions some grace.
Okay.
So I feel like even when we talk, it's like, how did we feel about that?
Yeah.
Really? Not the problem itself, but kind of
Our emotions.
yeah, our emotions.
Okay.
And like consoling each other around that. And because that's what you kind of take away at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that was big for me. Once I realized it, I was able to bring it to other conversations, and even to us. I feel like
Okay.
we kind of go back with that.
Yeah, back and forth
Back
all the
and forth
time.
all the time.
Now, in your own experience in like your work environment, do you ever
Yeah.
share any of your personal experiences?
Oh my gosh, I probably share too much of my personal experiences, but I don't believe in oversharing. I think it's important because it's like, it makes you relatable, and I feel
Yeah.
like it makes you a real person, because I feel like a lot of just society is like painting a picture, especially with
Okay.
social media. We can talk about that for another 20 minutes. But I feel like it's easy to put out there, look at me. I drive a really cute Honda HRV, and like I go to work every day 9 to 5, and I it's perfect. No, it's not. And I think the more you share, not just like your traumas and problems, but the more you share how you feel, it's like, okay, I also feel that way. Wow, no way. Oh my God. And you make an immediate
Relatable.
connection.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like to let people know at work and in my workplace and patients, it's like I'm right there with you. Don't worry. I'm not bigger than you. I'm not above you. We're
We're
here.
equals.
We're equals. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you being such a big advocate, how do you balance being an advocate and also taking care of yourself?
Oh, wow. Great question. It's important to have time for you, have safe space for you, and like
Okay.
remind yourself of your favorite things. As like
Okay.
cliche as that sounds, like for me, I love cooking, and I like to like be alone in the kitchen.
Does cooking help you with as a therapy?
Yes, it is very therapeutic. Talk about like how you're talking about adult coloring books,
Yeah.
like coloring
Yeah.
and dancing. Cooking for me is
Everyone
like,
has their own way.
oh my god, I put headphones on, I zone out, and I'm also like creating something.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe something kind of ties in with coloring. Like
Okay.
you're creating something,
and
and
you're
it
gonna
feels,
eat that.
and I'm gonna eat it, or I'm gonna color it. Like you know,
Yeah.
it feels.
It's the outcome.
It's the outcome, and like you put intention, like you put your feeling into what you're doing. It's super therapeutic for me.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, do you think being in therapy yourself makes you more effective in work?
100%.
Really?
I especially when I did while I conducted my research at Columbia too, it was the beginning was very eye-opening, but once I started doing therapy and being in therapy and then connecting it back with my work, it was like the quality of my conversations were better. The
Okay.
quality of like the connection I made with people.
So you would say it developed your communication skills?
Oh my god, communication skills, conversational skills, listening skills, because there's like communicating, but like how well can you listen?
Yeah.
You know, that was also something for me to work on.
Because if you're only thinking about yourself, then how are you gonna help others?
Exactly. Like if I can't listen to you, exactly like you
Yeah.
said,
How are you gonna
how am I
understand?
gonna understand? How can I help you?
Got you. Now, how do you ensure your own well-being while supporting others in this situation?
Well, along with like cooking being a big therapy of mine, however, I just remember to take time for me. Like at the end of the night, if it's just a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute. And whether that's like brushing my teeth, looking in the mirror, taking a breath, or a face mask, or also it's funny because being in therapy, you talk so much about other people. Sometimes it's like you kind of want to have a phone call with a friend and talk about
Okay.
you for a little bit. That's
Yeah.
also good.
I know some people, when they're looking in the mirror, they're like, okay, you're beautiful.
Oh my god,
You're-
yes. I'm huge on affirmations. Huge. And I think they really have some power, and that is like one of the big things like kind
Yeah.
of come back to you. Like
Okay.
it's like, hey, you're a powerful being. You got it.
It helps with
Nothing
your
can break you.
insecurities too.
Of course, your
Yeah.
confidence is boosted like times 10 just getting out of the house.
Now, has there been any moments where your personal and professional experience with mental health have like intersected in any meaningful ways?
I personal and professional, I think it's important to put a piece of your personal life just to like again like making you seem more real to the person you're talking
Okay.
to. I try to create like a little boundary, like just to not honestly, what am I saying? I don't create a boundary. I like to intertwine the two.
Okay.
Also in my personal life, like in my relationship, I like to bring all those tools that we talked about.
So a lot of communication.
A lot of communication.
Okay.
Overly communicative. Like, hey, I thought about this like 10 times today, but look how I thought about it. And give me your thoughts on it and let's
From
break it
your
down.
own perspective.
From your own perspective.
Okay.
Here's mine. Give me yours.
Got you.
So it helps actually in a lot of personal relationships for me.
Can you recall a time when something you've learned in therapy helped you while doing work?
Oh my gosh. Recently, actually, my therapist and I were talking about just the importance of breath, which I feel like is very commonly known, but the importance of creating a safe space for yourself.
Okay.
So like if certain things I know kind of itch up like my anxieties or like I'm a little uncomfortable,
Okay.
I know I can always fall on my breath. I can always fall on like just like taking note of the space I'm in. Being
Yeah.
mindful was really big for me.
Okay.
Like when I'm talking to someone, like I notice the details. Like I'm looking at your eyelashes.
Eye contact.
Yes,
Okay.
eye contact. I'm looking at your nose. I'm
Yeah,
looking at your
now I
eyebrows.
feel like you're looking at
Yes.
me.
And it's like, oh, that brings me back to the present moment. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. So those mindfulness and just being aware of my surroundings was really big on my techniques that I bring in.
Now, in therapy, has it like surprised yourself in any way? Like, have you learned anything about yourself?
Yeah, that you're way stronger than you think you're not.
Really?
You are way stronger. You can handle absolutely anything. And
Would you say that has changed your life, like thinking that way?
oof, oh my God. Like, yes, 100%. I think it's important to think of yourself as a very superior, powerful person and not like above anyone, but just, I can handle it. I'm good.
Okay. And now to wrap all this up, would you give anything, like any advice to anyone else who is like seeking therapy or like seeking like a mental like passageway
Yeah,
to life.
Oh my god, I do wish I had another 20 minutes to talk about this, but if anything, I would just say that finding a professional, and even like the term professional feels almost a little bit like a professional, like a bit too much. Don't even think about it like that. If you need someone else to just tell you the things that you want to hear, you can do that. And anything that you feel that you need to do for you, do it. You should come first, because then all your relationships in your entire life will better after you do that. And I think it's really important. And the more that you're vulnerable, the more powerful you are.
Wow, I've learned so much.
Oh my god, thank you. It was an honor to be here.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Here's Camila Nicasso.
Here's Jacqueline.
And we shall tune in for next time.